payments. You just use a different card because most of us use like maybe 2 or 3 or 4 different cards, from different providers. But again, they just went ahead and partnered with a lot of different companies again, which integrated with them. And with that said, but let's say that again, some of us just follow the majority, and once the big brands can adopt that, and if there are more companies providing solutions like that, which are again super user friendly and are communicating very simply Web 2 experience, to the end user, and with that said, with good business development, signing with or partnering, with big companies, that's the key to using crypto payments more. So with that said, I mean, it's obvious for me that technology is Web3, it's new, it's revolutionary, but the whole experience should be as simple as possible again to what the user has already been used to. So if you can hide the Web3 usability part and just push towards the solution that is more convenient for people to use on a daily basis, I think that's the key.
Yeah, to summarize, the user experience is basically what we're onto also. In Electrocoin, trying to fix that. We understand that having a decent payment wallet, for instance, is something that is dearly lacking. But then on the other hand, people are used to paying with cards. So yeah, I guess the penetration of the payment wallets in the next few years, in the whole EU market with classical payment wallets, will maybe start opening door, for more of a general public understanding of how payment with wallets works. Maybe this is going to be, another eye-opener for mainstream adoption. So maybe to get back to infrastructure, the decentralization, one of the, best examples of a system starting as a decentralized network is, of course, the internet. And as it started, it was completely decentralized. The web, when it started, was, quite decentralized, the web 1.0. Everybody could just, get up their website and do it without any censorships and stuff like that. And for the years with the social media that we like to call, web 2.0, it became just severely centralized. Now everything is on, basically Meta owns Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp, so yeah, almost complete centralization of Web 2. Why do you think that happened, and how can we basically stop that from happening with our because we already see that kind of centralization in infrastructure, as we already talked about it with the Infura and stuff. So how do we, what can we learn from this history of internet and web, and how do we stop that from happening to us? Yair, maybe you first go.
Thank you. So I think the nature of the beast of any natural evolution of systems, especially in technology, has to go through centralization. And I want everyone to imagine that 20 years ago I would come to you and tell you, I have amazing protocol. Okay, it's something with satellites, it can give you navigation. Do you want to contribute? Today's GPS, right? So if 20 years ago you could come to contribute to GPS and be part of that, whether by development, by taking some core components, elements, and get incentivized, I think most of us in the room here would jump on this ride. And this is exactly the shift that brought me, especially personally, to crypto. We can harness the power of open source. We can harness the power of community, but by incentivizing. Okay, so and this is what one of the principles that we believe in Lava. As Moxie said 1.5 years ago, nobody wants to run his own server. Nobody wants to run his own node, because it's as if 10 years ago everyone will have its own AWS, GCP, Azure, and so forth. So by creating an open standard, a public good that permissionlessly everyone can join, whether it's a few servers at home, whether they have a small, medium, large company that's already using infrastructure. This is what we do in Lava. Come to Lava, join us, support any blockchain out there. Because if at the end of the day, the dApps will have one subscription to get access to all Web3, it's a game changer. If at the end of the day, they're doing that by promising that we eliminate the censorship, privacy problems, and single point of failure, I think it's a game changer.
Polina, do you agree with Yair? Do you have anything to add? So how do we avoid, the destiny of the web?
Yeah, good question. So there's this nice statistic from A16Z. I think it was exactly a year ago what they posted. Their research that it's only 20% of all the infrastructure right now lives in cloud. That means two things, that 80% does not, and there is a potential for Amazon to grow 5 more times, which is kind of a promise to investors. Yeah, so I would say the idea is basically to allow a lot of users to join into the network while they're not being a centralized entity. So as a product, we propose to build kind of a marketplace for the storage where you can lend your storage and user can use your storage, while there will be no one central point of failure. Like, I don't know, the good example is with Tornado Cache. Like, Tornado Cache is banned, Amazon wipes out all of their data, they're wiped out in all of the social networks, the project is gone right now. So technically it's not, you can still use it, but you'll be blacklisted on all the exchanges that exist. So yeah, centralization, bad. Yeah, in terms of the internet, I think the biggest problem right now is, and why internet became centralized, is because no one actually wanted to run their website on their own server at home. If you want a website, what you do? You go to Wix, you go to, I don't know what else is there for the website servers, and someone runs it for you, and it became a very good field for the businesses to provide services. And ideally, what I think could be kind of solution here is to build a lot of light clients, or something that is super easy for end user to contribute to. Because if you always need to have this huge machine to run your own node at home, and you're not into this, and you just want to use decentralized Facebook, whatever, it's the best thing to do is to enable every user to have some sort of software that they can run on their phone, on their laptop, that is super lightweight, that adds to decentralization, but yeah, it doesn't require like a super setup of servers at home that heats up your building or something like this. So again, as a product manager, I think that everything just goes back to usability. If you build it easy for the end user and it is decentralized, it will continue to be decentralized. So that's my take.
Alex, what's your take on this?
Well, first of all, I have to say that both Yair and Polina actually stated some really good examples here, but their products as well do provide a lot of opportunity for people to turn more into using decentralized products. So kudos for that to both of you. But something that Polina actually mentioned, using a lot of light clients, to try to make it more convenient for people to let's say connect to Web3 and start building on Web3 is super important. The one of the, let's say, light clients that I've been mostly familiar with is Substrate, like light client, from the Polkadot ecosystem, which has been proven, to grow the KPIs of the team at parity for like 70% in adoption to for more Substrate developers and more products overall being built on top of the infrastructure. So. With that said, I don't want to take too much of our time, but I just want to say that for me also centralization versus decentralization is just also really important to consider on a philosophical level as well, because what is truly decentralized nowadays is it's kind of a an opportunity of seeing the collective ownership, which is good at one point, but then again when it comes to decision making, it can be a little bit of a turnoff, right? In terms of like, so if all of us are just sitting here and someone needs to do something or execute something, and who should be the one to do it, or what happens to the result? Should we blame the person who executed it? But we all said, because it's super decentralized, that we should do it, right? So in that terms, it's like I mentioned, decentralization is cool. From a technological standpoint, it's awesome, and I would love to see more use cases and people uniting, towards building something that's going to, change the world from that perspective. But again, what if something goes wrong? Then should we blame the person who executed again, or just, should we blame the centralization from, or all 50 people from the, 80 that voted, for something? So with that said, it's like, I think we should be super critical to anything, we judge from that standpoint and try to, build proper solutions according to our own beliefs. And someone should always lead, right? So yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, I agree completely, and we've been building as an industry. We have been building the infrastructure for quite some time, right? The Web3 infrastructure, and if we compare it to Web2, it just exploded in the scene. Like Facebook grew with immense speed. Some other social networks also. We don't see that in Web. I mean, how many of you can we get a show of hands? How many of you have a Web3 social network handle, or how many of you can name one Web3 social network, a contender to Twitter, Facebook, or whatever? Okay, yeah, Lens is the correct answer. So how many of you do have a Lens handle? Okay, very good. Like it's like 25%, something like 30%. But this is a Web3 conference, and like 70% of people don't. I mean, I don't have it because it's not easy to get one. It's super complicated to get it. I've been messaging Stana, and he's not answering my messages. Anyway, so why, in your opinion, Web3 is not exploding? Yair, can we start with you?
Yes, for sure. I think you are much more veterans than me in the industry, and I was for many years following it from the side. But I think that what happened with especially in the recent years, with the FTX, with the Celsius, with the Terra of the world, it brought a lot of bad reputation, and this is the first cycle that it actually correlated with the overall cycle, like overall world crisis. Since the beginning of Bitcoin, we didn't see all the drops, all the bear market that I was at least researching was not correlated with other markets. And this actually gave me the first vote of confidence to jump right into the industry. And I think that we need to bring back the reputation for Web3. We need to bring back many different use cases that we will want at the end of the day to put our social life out there. We would like to share with the world based on a working product that we brought it to the masses. And once this enablement will occur, I think that obviously it's going to be the next bear market, but then we're going to see crypto and meet crypto, Web3, sorry, much more in our day-to-day life.
Polina?
Yeah, again, I would append to the reputational question that actually everyone, when you talk to crypto about people, or people ask, where do you work? And you said crypto, they're like, oh, scam. So yeah, the reputation is huge in this regards, and we need to fix it for sure. But when people think about either tokens, NFT, shitcoins, exchanges, and things like that when you talk to them about crypto assets, whatever. Nobody actually thinks about other good projects because not many people are exposed to that. Why is that? Because it's very hard to onboard people in crypto projects if you don't know crypto, because there's something keys, something private, something public. Oh no, don't show this to anyone, things like that. And it's very hard if I cannot explain this to my grandma. If I can explain it to my grandma, then she has a Facebook, but she doesn't have a wallet. Obviously, it's tough. So what I think is important is as soon as there is a product that is good with onboarding users and a lot of users use it, and then they understand that, oh, actually there's crypto in there, then it may be a success. I would say we're potentially targeting to be that product because we're building our user interface, API interface, in a way that you don't really need to know about crypto to use it. You just have API, you have the payment gateway, there you go. You can use it just as Web2 service. And I think that may be a future for all of Web3, that you actually use it as technology somewhere under the hood, and it gives you all the benefits of like privacy, zero knowledge proof, censorship resistance, so on and so on. But people just use it because it's simple and it's straightforward and it gives you all these benefits on top of it. So I think that's what we need to target, and that's what it's missing right now.
Alex?
Well, of course, reputation. To what both speakers actually mentioned here is really important, but also time in being capable for the end user to adapt to something. And from the building perspective, I need to emphasize that Web3 companies needs to start small and go step by step. For example, I know one parachain in the Polkadot space, which is called Frequency, and they just recently launched the Web3 social media platform, but they partnered with an already existing Web2 social media platform, and then they just provided like a small Web3, kind of features to the whole community, and then they onboarded existing, people to Web3 through that. So, with that said, I don't want to, complicate the answer too much, but I think, one step at a time and letting people adapt to something, because it's all about, the habit of usage. No one is expecting us to, leave Instagram or leave Twitter or leave Facebook, for something that has just been launched, like, I don't know, a month ago or 3 months ago, especially, again, coming back to what both Polina and Yair said, that's something that has, a tricky reputation, so yeah.
By the way, just to finish on a very positive tone, we see the pace of adoption going up or down exponentially, depends how you look at that. We see that with Google, how long they took them to get to 1 million users. We see Spotify and we see ChatGPT. I'm very optimistic about the next social, bull run of Web3.
Yeah, I hope we see that. Unfortunately, we are out of time, so let's do a few quick questions, if there are any. Do you have any questions for our esteemed guests?
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. I mean, if you don't, I have. So yeah, let's do another one. So Polina, to get back to you, you were mentioning other applications. So what do you think, except finance and cryptocurrencies, what else can we decentralize? What other applications of decentralization do you see in your crystal ball?
I mean, yeah, as you mentioned in one of your previous questions, like if you talk about global usage there, like this FANG for biggest companies in Silicon Valley, I think in general cloud infrastructure is on a very, very this niche point of that has to be decentralized sooner or later, because yeah, we're talking mostly Amazon and Azure getting most of the markets in terms of cloud infrastructure. I think there is a very, very long way to go there, to be honest. And right now, well, we're very, very early into decentralizing that piece. But I think that's something we have to do eventually, especially if they're home-based in America and with American government, the technically government can close them up and close your business up through them easy peasy anytime. So yeah, I guess infrastructure is the biggest answer.
And Alex, what would you like to decentralize, from services that you use?
Well, for me personally, I mean, maybe identity, because at this point, a lot of companies are trying to, provide us with kind of services and solutions to, feel us more secure using the internet, browsing the internet and getting rewarded for that. But at the end of the day, I think it's the identity is losing its values and its assets just by, adding additional, for me, maybe even adding, additional features, we would just lose the focus from the identity itself. And, personally, again, much better solutions, I think, can be built on top of that. And then through that, maybe even communicate to traditional institutions. Because, as long as we don't focus on that and focus more on, rewards, payments, etc., I mean, it's important, but then again, if you want to, see Web3 and see blockchain, being massively adopted by majority of internet users, we need to become friends with traditional institutions at some point, and again, communicating values which have been ruling the world for a lot of time needs to happen.
That's a scary one. We do a lot of identification in our industry, in fiat on-off ramp, and we would really benefit from this decentralization, but people are really scared, of their identity just being written in stone forever. So yeah, that's going to be a hard one to tackle. And Yair, what's your favorite centralized itch to scratch? What would you like to see decentralized?
I would like to decentralize my time. Somebody can help me with that?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to speakers. Thank you to audience for sticking with us right till the end. We are out of time. So we'll just see you at the party and the boat party tomorrow.